I'm Tom Seigel, Superintendent of the Bethel School District, and I'd like to have you take a look at this little video that helps explain a situation that has been ongoing in Bethel actually for not just decades, but for generations. And that is, while we have 124,000 people who live here, about 13% of Pierce County's population, we get nowhere near 13% of the county resources. And it's a problem for our families and for our kids. It's an extra problem they have to face in addition to everything else. So I'd like to have you take a look at this presentation, and then if you feel comfortable, please share it with others. And if you want to, contact the elected officials, especially those county elected officials that have the power to change this. This has been a problem that's been going on not just for decades, as I mentioned, but generations. And it's time for change, because not only the people who currently live here face these problems, but there are tens of thousands of more that are coming because of recent changes in county zoning. So take a look, think about it, and then I would love to have you actually act and contact your elected officials. Thank you. Here's a map of the county, and this purple area right here is Bethel. We're 202 square miles, 1/9 the land mass of the county. There are 4 different county council members who represent Bethel, and we're this light blue area right here. You can see who they are and the geographic proximity of their areas. We do have 1/8 of the population, 13.1% of the population, 124,000 people who live in Bethel. And that's increased 2,000 residents per year for each of the 22 years I've been here, and on average about 300 kids for each of those 22 years as well. Now, this is right out of the Pierce County Equity Initiative statement, but it talks about equity is achieved when all people have access to the resources and opportunities to improve their quality of life. Now, first of all, I'm going to show you that we do not have the resources here in the Bethel School District, and the access to where they are is largely non-existent as well. So first of all, I just want to mention that we have been growing all the years I've been here, and there's been a recent change in zoning. And this tan color that you see on both sides, that changes the housing density that developers can build to. If it's maximized, it will result in 5,400 more students for us. That's in addition to the normal 250 to 300 per year that we get every year. That's the equivalent of 10 new elementary schools. It's just a whole bunch of new kids coming to our area, and we already don't have enough resources. This is a map of Pierce Transit, and here's Route 1, which is the only bus route we have. We have 3 miles of it on Pacific Avenue. I'd like to point out that the black down here is the northern boundary of the Bethel School District. This is the northern 1/3 of the Bethel School District, 1/4 maybe. And there's 80,000 people who live in this area. That's more than Lakewood and Puyallup combined. This part of the Bethel School District has urban or suburban, if you want to call it, housing density, the equivalent of both Puyallup and Lakewood. But everybody talks about Bethel being rural. It's not. The southern 2/3 are rural-ish, but it's not rural. So Pierce Transit has 251 miles of bus service in the county. We have 3 miles or 1.2%, not the 13% that would be proportional. And here's a statement from the Pierce County: adequate public infrastructure and services, including not limited to roads, water, sewer, recreation, and schools, will be available prior to or concurrent with actual needs. Let me assure you that it's impossible to have schools available prior to, let alone concurrent with actual needs, because the supermajority requirement, difficulty in passing a bond, let alone the infrastructure that does not exist to begin with and is always put in retroactively when and if it ever is installed at all. There are other things that are not county government, but are resources that help build communities. And one of them are hospitals, are all located to the north of Bethel. And of course, we already know that we have 1 transit line. So there's a significant portion of our population that can't use the transit to get to the hospitals. And, you know, as soon as they have a car, they don't all have a car. They all don't have time off from work. So it creates a problem. County parks, there are 171 parks in the county. We have 3. Frontier, Cross, thank goodness we have Cross Park. And we also have Sprinker. They're all regional parks. They all have a specialty. They all have a draw. None of them are designed to be walked to. Anybody who's crazy enough to walk to Frontier get run over. The same thing with Cross. There's no sidewalk over there. And then if you get to Sprinker, you have to go across Pacific Avenue. We don't have our fair share of parks.
Pools. We have a significant number of kids that do not know how to swim. We have a number of kids who do not know how to swim well. The swimming pools are all located to the north, with the exception of one down in Eatonville. And again, the same thing, too far away, transit not available, cost, so on and so forth. Same thing at YMCA. They have programs for kids. They're all located to the north. Boys and Girls Club, same thing, all located to the north, nothing out here. Now, a government service, libraries, there are 28. We have one. Based on proportionality, we should have 4. Colleges and universities, same problem, located to the north. Department of Social and Health Services, there are 4 offices, none of them located in our area, although we do have parts of our district that have 70% free and reduced lunch rate, and Franklin Pierce has numbers equal to or greater than that. Deputy Sheriff detachments, none in our area. We have no crime, I guess. I'm being facetious. Obviously, they patrol in the area. We actually have, based on what I've been told, fewer deputies in our area, though, than we did 22 years ago. Okay, this is a map that shows it for the Bethel School District. These red lines are where, if sidewalks are put in, we have kids who can walk to school. We drive 1.3 million miles, burn 125,000 gallons of fuel every year, transporting 10,500 kids. And in the case like 78th Avenue, for a stretch of land of about 4 blocks long, maybe 5 blocks long, if that were a continuous sidewalk on just one side of the street, there are about 500 kids that could walk to school. I mean, there are places where you could have significant savings as far as burning fuels, kids walking to school safely, but the way things are set up, that isn't going to happen. Now, we've been trying to get funding for sidewalks for at least 15 years. We did finally get one side of 168, the north side, a grant for it. And we've got part of the money for the sidewalk to the north of the Graham-Kapowson High School. So we got 1.5 grants, about 12 of them are needed, and that's in 15 years. So where's the priority? And this is also out of a Pierce County document. Non-motorized transportation facilities, including sidewalks, pathways, and trails, will be planned and systematically developed within the community so that future residents can travel to schools, parks, commercial areas, and other destinations safely without relying upon the automobile. That's obviously not happening. I think there is one pathway in Breezeman Forest, and I don't think for purposes of security that I would walk it. This is a map. Black dots are where our schools are located. We have been trying to do our part as a school district. These triangles show family centers. We do have one over Challenger High School, brand new, modernized. Any organization, nonprofit, 501c3, government entity, I don't care. But if you have services that'll help kids or help families, you have free rent to use that site. We have another one planned, Pacific Avenue, the old Spanaway Elementary site. And we're asking, again, U.S. Representative Dr. Kim Schreier for funding to modernize a facility that we have that we could do in Graham. As far as school-based health clinics, we know that based on the Healthy Youth Survey, our kids have more dental, behavioral health, and medical problems in the county as an average. So we do have one school-based health clinic through community health care at Bethel Middle School located here. There's another one under construction over here, and we have funding in the pipeline for the third one here. And I want to thank our state representatives and senator, including the one who is here today with us, for making this all come together. So we're trying to do those things to help with the resources that do not exist here, including Pierce College. We have 2 campuses where they actually have a school on site, and our kids can participate at GK and over at Spanaway Lake High School. And as I mentioned, we have 100 kids who graduated with an associate's degree as a result. We actually go beyond that. We actually have not just 1, but now 4 vehicles. They go out into low-income neighborhoods, including trailer parks. They hand out a variety of things: school supplies, yes, food, clothing, furniture, wheelchairs. We've even had Pierce County Health doctors go out and help and talk to people about their health needs. By the way, any organization that wants to come along, it's free. And it's interesting, the concerns and rank order of this organization closely replicate what I've been talking about. Okay, so what are the resources for this 13% of the county? Well, we've got 1 bus route, 3 miles. We have 3 parks. We have 1 library, and you can see everything else are goose eggs, including the other things that are not government, but help develop community. We do have 1 other government entity, and that's where they park the road graders and dump trucks for road maintenance, and also get rid of the road waste at their disposal site. We've got that. We also have the county dump. But here are some opportunities. Reestablish the Pierce transit routes that used to be here. It actually used to be transit routes, 176, 224th and Meridian. Sidewalks, fund them. Don't wait for the developers. Fund the ones that make sense. Bring county services to the area, free space at the family centers, free space. Join Bob the Bus and the outreach efforts. Collaborate and develop public swimming pool, walkable parks, spaces, trails, and libraries. So we're willing to work as a partner. By the way, we actually have land that could be used to develop a park. This is the way that the county splits up different communities. Notice, first of all, Frederickson is in our district, Graham's in our district, and Spanaway. Pay particular attention, number 10 and number 4. This is their equity analysis. In other words, the high inequality that exists. Spanaway, all the indicators are lit up. I mean, even more than Parkland. And Frederickson's got a bunch of them too. So there's a huge degree of inequality to begin with. Now, some of you heard, I just found out recently, there are actually 2 Washington State Department transportation studies underway. One has to do with what they call intermodal transportation analysis. That's this TAN area, which encompasses all of, well, it's Bethel and then a little bit of Orting School District, but it's us. So there is a recognition that transportation in this area is a serious problem. We've also superimposed a couple of green circles. There is a proposal by the state to establish new airports. I think there are 3, maybe there's 4 in the last cut. We have 2 of them. And those are both in the Bethel School District area. This one actually has schools within the footprint. And this one is, I think, has 1 as well. These are possible areas for a new airport. They're talking 2 runways, I think 11,000 foot runways. So it's a regional airport, jet airplanes possibly coming to our school district where we aren't even capable of actually handling the current traffic well. So that's my tale of woe. The resources that should be here from government do not exist, and it's only going to get worse. This part of the county needs to have the resources backfilled and to be built up for the future population that's coming here. It's happening, and it's going to be I won't say unmitigated disaster, but darn near. Things have got to change, and the resources that basically this area's been cheated out of for not just decades, but for generations need to be fixed. And I'm not pointing fingers at any county council member because none of them have been on the county council for decades or generations, but it's a cumulative effect and it needs to be worked on and fixed now.